Good morning, students. I will go through today the size, shape and arrangement of the bacterial cell. In my previous class, I have already mentioned the structure we have to go through. First of all, the structural configuration or structural characteristics of the prokaryotic cell. So firstly, I will go through the size, shape and arrangement of the bacterial cells, and here we have to read that there are two basic shapes in the bacterial structure. Firstly, coccus, which means berries, and another one is rod shaped, which is called bacillus, and third one is the spiral. So the cocci are usually round, but it can be oval, elongated or flattened on the one side. So next comes to the diplococci, those that divided and remain attached in the chain-like patterns. In the chain-like patterns are called the streptococci, from which the term have been come from, that streptococcus. The name of the organism is Streptococcus aureus. So the term has been coming from the streptococci. Next, the term those that divide in two planes and remain in the groups of four are known as the tetrads. Tetrads mean four in shape. Then comes those that divide in the multiple planes and form the grape-like clusters or the broad sheets known as the staphylococci. So in my notes you have been go through that there are different structures: diplococci, streptococci, tetrad, sarcina, etc. So next comes, you have to next go through the structures external to the cell wall. Structures external to the cell wall. Here you will go through glycocalyx. It means the sugar coat present on the outside of the bacterial cell. So the bacterial glycocalyx is a viscous structure, which means sticky structure, gelatinous polymer that is external to the cell wall and composed of the polysaccharide, polypeptide or both. Next comes a term about the capsule. What does it mean? Now, if the substance is organized and is firmly attached to the cell wall, the glycocalyx is considered as the capsule, and the presence of a capsule can be determined by using the negative staining. When I will go for the staining, then I will discuss how a particular bacterial capsule can be stained, but it will be stained by the mechanism of the negative staining. Then comes the structure of the flagella. So the singular form of the flagella is known as the flagellum, and the plural form will be the flagella. So there are various types of the flagella. Next, firstly the monotrichous. Monotrichous means a single polar flagella. Then comes to the amphitrichous. Amphitrichous means a tuft of flagella at each end of the cell. Then comes lophotrichous, means two or more flagella at one or both ends of the cell. In your notes you can go through the structure in the diagrammatic view. And last one is the peritrichous, so means the flagella distributed over the entire cell. A flagellum has the three basic parts. What are those? The long outermost region will be known as the filament. It is constant in diameter and contains the globular protein, which is known as the flagellin, and which will be arranged in the several chains that intertwine and form a helix around a hollow core. In most of the bacteria, filaments are not covered by a membrane or sheath as in the eukaryotic cells. Very important, the structure of the prokaryotic flagellum. Here we can see there will be the filament, hook and the basal body. So the basal body, what does it mean? It is the third portion of the flagellum. It is the basal body which anchors the flagellum to the cell wall and the plasma membrane. So this basal body is composed of a small central rod inserted into the series of rings. Most important part is the gram-negative bacteria contain two pairs of the rings. I repeat, the gram-negative bacteria contain two pairs of rings. The outer pair of the rings is anchored to the various portions of the cell wall, and the inner pair of the ring is anchored to the plasma membrane. Whereas in case of the gram-positive bacteria, only the inner pair is present. So the outer pair is absent in case of the gram-positive bacteria. So here in case of the gram-positive bacteria, only the single pair of this particular ring is present, whereas in gram-negative one, there will be the two pairs present. Next one is the each prokaryotic flagellum is a semi-rigid helical structure that moves the cell by rotating from the basal body. The rotation of a flagellum is either clockwise or the anti-clockwise. Clockwise means run. The particular organism have to run towards the particular food substance or the substance by which it is attracted. But if the organism is not running towards the particular substance, so it will be termed as the tumble, T-U-M-B-L-E, tumble. Clear? Next, bacterial cells can alter the speed and the direction of the rotation of the flagella, and thus are capable of various patterns of the motility. So the term that when a bacterium moves in one direction for a length of time, the movement is called the run or swing. So runs are interrupted by the periodic abrupt random changes in the direction called the tumbles. So the movement of the bacterium toward or away from a particular stimulus is known as the taxis. The mechanism is known as the taxis. And the stimuli include chemicals known as the chemotaxis and the light, which will be most important substance for the organism to move. It is known as the phototaxis. Then comes to the part of the flagellar protein is known as the H antigen, which is useful for the distinguishing among the serovars, means or the variations within a species of the gram-negative bacteria. How much or what are the types of the gram-negative bacteria present in response to its antimicrobial structure. So it is known as the serovars. For example, there are at least 50 different H antigens for the E. coli. So the E. coli, the particular gram-negative organism, is consisting of the 50 different types of the antigens, and the serovars identified as the O157H7, which are associated with the foodborne epidemic. So these particular E. coli having the serovar type of the O157H7 can be considered as the pathogenic organism as it causes the foodborne infection. Then comes to the fimbri and pili. So it's an important part. So fimbri can occur at the poles of the bacterial cell, or they can be evenly distributed over the entire surface of the cell. And the once colonization occurs, the bacteria can cause disease. So when fimbri are absent, colonization cannot happen, so no disorder or disease ensues. Then comes to the pili. Singular form is the pilus. These are usually longer than the fimbri and number only 1 or 2 per cell. Then comes to the cell wall of the bacterial cell. It's a very complex semi-rigid structure which is responsible for the shape of the cell. The major function of the cell wall is to prevent bacterial cells from rupturing when the water pressure inside the cell is greater than that outside of the cell. So the composition and the characteristics features of the bacterial cell we have to go through. The bacterial cell wall is basically composed of a macromolecular network which is known as the peptidoglycan, or also known as the murin structure, which is present either alone or in combination with other substances. So in my previous class I have already mentioned the two terms about the cell wall structure. First one is NAM, second one is NAC. NAM means N-acetylmuramic acid, and NAG stands for the NAC. It is known as the N-acetylglucosamine. So the structural formulas of the NAC and NAM you can visualize from the structure. And the various components of the peptidoglycan are assembled in the cell wall. Alternating NAM and NAG molecules are linked in rows of the 10 to 65 sugars to form a carbohydrate backbone. The amino acid occur in an alternating pattern of the D and L form. D means dextroform, L means levoform. Clear? This is unique because the amino acids found in other proteins are the L form. So the parallel tetrapeptide side chains may be directly bonded to each other or linked by a peptide cross bridge consisting of the short chain of the amino acid. Then comes to the gram-positive cell walls. Here the main important part is presence of the teichoic acids, which are totally absent in case of the gram-negative cell wall. So the teichoic acids, it's a lipoteichoic acids which spans the peptidoglycan layer, and it is linked to the plasma membrane, and the wild teichoic acid which is linked to the peptidoglycan layer. Because of their negative charge, means it has the negative charge, so teichoic acids may bind and regulate the movement of the positive ions or cations into and out of the cell. Then comes to the gram-negative cell wall. Here, there will be the 3 points. Which are they? Those are the particular outer membrane of the gram-negative cell consists of the lipopolysaccharide, lipoprotein, and the phospholipids. So the lipopolysaccharide stands as LPS, lipoprotein, and the third one will be the phospholipids. The outer membrane has several specialized functions. So its strong negative charge is an important factor in evading the phagocytosis and actions of the complement. The outer membrane also involves a barrier to certain antibiotics, for example penicillin, digestive enzymes such as lysozyme, detergents, heavy metals, bile salts, and the certain dyes. Another one known as the porine protein. What are those? The outer membrane does not provide a barrier to all the substances in the environment because nutrients have to pass through to sustain the metabolism of the cell. So the part of the permeability of the outer membrane is due to the proteins in the membrane known as the porins, which form the channels. So porine has the ability to permit the passage of the molecules such as the nucleotides, disaccharides, peptides, amino acids, vitamins, vitamin B12, basically vitamin B12, and the iron through the cell. So the LPS component of the outer membrane provides 2 important characteristics of the gram-negative one. Firstly, the polysaccharide portion is composed of the sugar known as the O polysaccharide, that function as the antigens and are useful for the distinguishing species of the gram-negative bacteria. For example, the foodborne pathogen which I already mentioned, E. coli O157H7, is distinguished from other serovars by certain laboratory tests that test for the specific antigen. This role is comparable to that of the teichoic acid in gram-positive cells. Second one is the lipid A, which is referred to as the endotoxin. There are different types of the toxin I have already mentioned. So it is the lipid A is considered as the endotoxin and is toxic when it is in the host's bloodstream or the GI tract. So it causes the fever and shock. The natural and the importance of the endotoxins and the other bacterial toxins will be exotoxin, cytotoxin, neurotoxin, enterotoxin, etc. Then comes to the part of the cell walls and the Gram-Stein mechanism. So the Gram-Stein mechanism, in case of the Gram-Stein mechanism, you have already gone through. There are primary stain crystal violet, stains both the gram-positive and the gram-negative cells purple because the dye enters the cytoplasm of both types of the cell. So when the iodine, which is considered as the mordant, is applied, it forms a large crystals with the dye which are too large to escape through the cell wall. So the application of the alcohol dehydrates the peptidoglycan of the gram-positive cells to make it more impermeable to the crystal violet iodine. It's a complex. The effect on the gram-negative cells is quite different. So alcohol dissolves the outer membrane of the gram-negative cells and even leaves the small holes in the thin peptidoglycan layer through which the crystal violet iodine diffuse out from the cell. So after the alcoholic wash, it will form the counter stain which is known as safranin. It will be colored as the red. You know that. Then comes to the atypical cell wall, and within this topic it will go through the acid fast cell walls. So the acid fast bacterium will be known as the Mycobacterium and also the Nocardia. So these bacteria contain the high concentration, basically the 60% of the hydrophobic waxy-lipid which is known as the mycolic acid. Hydrophobic waxy-lipid is known as the mycolic acid in their cell wall, which prevents the uptake of the dyes, including those used in the gram stain. So these mycolic acid forms a layer outside of a thin layer of the peptidoglycan. The carbolfuchsin penetrates the cell wall. The stain which has been used here, it is known as the carbolfuchsin. So the acid fast bacteria can be stained by use of the carbolfuchsin stain. So this particular carbolfuchsin penetrates the cell wall, binds to the cytoplasm and resists removal by washing with the acid alcohol. So these acid fast bacteria retain the red color of the carbolfuchsin because it is more soluble in the cell wall mycolic acid than in the acid alcohol. And if the mycolic acid layer is removed from the cell wall of acid fast bacteria, they will stain gram positive with the gram stain. Then comes to the what is osmotic lysis. So the osmotic lysis means the rupturing of the microbial cell.